Well, the family of a Rivers State High Chief, Sobo Mabo Jackrich Egberipapa, is asking the military of his whereabouts after a raid on his home, resulting in the shooting of 2 people.
Well, it comes after a search operation conducted by the soldiers, an operation that lasted about 5 hours, that High Chief Jackrich was arrested and moved to an undisclosed location. Well, his family has expressed shock and concern that such form of enforced disappearance of a Nigerian citizen can be carried out by the military, describing the action as unacceptable. Both members of his legal team and his family are pleading with the military to disclose his whereabouts to enable him access to medical attention immediately, while also urging the military to de-escalate the siege at his residence, which was cordoned off following the military operation in search of cache of arms. Frank Tietie is a counsel to High Chief Sobo Mabo Jackrich Egberipapa, and he joins us now in the studio. So good to see you. Thanks for joining us on Newsnight. So what exactly is this all about? Is there history to this arrest?
There cannot be any history except that Honorable Jackrich is known as a philanthropist and a man of the people across Rivers State. He is a fine and fantastic example of the success of the presidential amnesty program that was initiated by President Umar Yar'Adua. So this comes as a real surprise, especially to me, who knows him personally. He has engaged my services to ensure that many of his men that laid down arms many years ago that have been captured by the presidential amnesty program are actually adequately paid their allowances. And I've written several letters to the presidential amnesty program to that effect. And he's someone who believes in the legal process, and he's such a refined gentleman. And so this comes as a surprise, more especially when he has spent most of his time in recent times in Abuja and had just recently visited his hometown 2 days ago. For this to happen without explanation, it becomes a form of, surprise to the extent as if he's been treated as an enemy, which ought not to be. And to think more especially that he is a repository of, peaceful coexistence, peaceful cooperation with the Nigerian government, especially in ensuring that there is peace in that area, there is development, and then especially in ensuring that the days of militancy were over. So to think that such a person that has a history of active cooperation with government, he can be seen as an ally, in providing, stability in that region. This comes as a surprise, and is not the kind of person that should be arrested or be approached with such kind of. He's
been arrested, well, allegedly by the military, because the family is asking.
It's the manner that matters. You invade his home at 3 a.m. in the wee hours in the morning, and then in expectation of what? If you have reasonable intelligence that is stored, the arms are stored there, I'm not surprised. After all, they invaded the home of Chief Ike Clark while he was in Abuja here, all in desperation to search for arms. But I think that we should do everything possible as a country to ensure that we reduce the measure of tension and violence in that region. It is unnecessary. If you are in search of arms and indeed you want to check High Chief Jackrich Egberipapa's house, what stops you from coming in the normal time and then asking with a search warrant and then with the proper law enforcement?
Is there a time by law where you're not allowed to come looking for anything? Because when we talk about the wee hours, it's as if there is a law that prevents the agencies from coming.
First, we're talking about law enforcement here. Who's responsible? Is it the army that should come?
No, but I want to pick on that. Is there a law that says you must come?
The law is called the criminal procedure
in office hours.
No, see. When you approach the magistrate to issue a search warrant, it is stated in the warrant the particular time the search is carried out. And in this case, we don't have a search warrant to that effect. And the process of search is that you don't come as an invading army. You come as a law enforcement agent, you present this warrant, and then there are witnesses to how you conduct the search. And then if materials are taken away, they are all recorded with witnesses. In this case, it becomes the Gestapo approach destroys evidence if there is any. In this case, it becomes so one-sided. How do you treat a Nigerian citizen as an enemy when there is no basis?
In other words, there's no law preventing the military or any agency from coming to your home.
There is a law preventing the military from acting as a police, as a law enforcement agent, when it ought to have applied for a search warrant.
But all of a sudden, we think that the military is wrong. But when they give us security and prevent hoodlums and bandits and so many other things where the police are sleeping, we don't say anything.
As the military said, it invaded Honorable High Chief Jack Rich compound in search of arms.
We should wait for the military.
Wait a minute. So why would you do that?
I thought as a council, you should also have approached the military and tell us what the military is saying. If they're not saying anything to you, then that will be the basis of our conversation.
Have you approached the military?
The most important thing, the family members have reached out to the police. It is the responsibility of the police to ensure its safety. From the last report I got from Port Harcourt, is that the police has confirmed that he is in the custody of the army. Where he is, it's a different matter. But what is of concern to us as his lawyers is that it's his safety. In a situation where you approach him in such a Gestapo manner and shooting down 2 people, we are concerned about whether or not he's alive. So that's the first thing. We will deal with other infractions, conducted by whoever. These forms of enforced disappearance against Nigerian citizens must stop. In this case, especially when it's about law-abiding citizens like High Chief Jack Rich. There is no basis for that invasion. If there is anything that the army had wanted or one form of intelligence that is acting upon, it could have either ask the Department of State Services or the police to get involved, and not that kind of invasion that in a military style that could have led to anything. You see, I am particularly very sad when we talk about stories of law enforcement agents being killed, whether the police or the army. So, but you can avoid all of that when you follow the legal procedure. Do you think
it has anything to do with the recent events?
I cannot engage in guesswork. What is important to us is the fact that you cannot treat a Nigerian citizen as an enemy, more especially when you are an organized army. If there is any reason to call for any arrest, you can either invite or you proceed with a warrant and then get the man arrested by a law enforcement agent and not by a highly organized army like Nigerian army. You shouldn't do that in such an unprofessional manner. What is of most importance to us, I must say, at this time, especially in the depth of information, is that please ensure that High Chief Sobomabu Jack Rich is safe. He has every entitlement as a Nigerian citizen to be given his full rights. And again, he has earned such kind of cooperation with the Nigerian government, even the military, not to be treated in that manner, destroying his house and then shooting down, shooting and killing his aides. That's unfortunate.
We'd like to thank you, Frank Tietie. Frank Tietie, in this case, tonight is appearing as a counsel to the High Chief Egberi Papa. We're waiting to hear from the military. We'll follow with them. The military is yet to speak on this, and so that we can have a balanced view of what this is about.